Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about how to make the most of your travel budget, how to make it stretch further. But in case you're new and you have no clue who I am, let me introduce myself. My name is Adelia Borshade, but here on the internet, I am more widely known as Picky Girl Travels the World. And I help Black women get their finances in order so that they can live the life of their dreams. Doesn't matter if that's retiring early, traveling the world, or moving abroad to a whole nother country. This channel is all about getting you out there to live your travel dream. So if that sounds like your jam, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. For those that are not new, you know I am all about budget travel. I was a public school teacher for a really long time, so I had to make my dollars stretch. Now I got to make my pesos stretch further. That's why I was recently watching a video called 7 Money Saving Life Hacks for Traveling the World over on Monica Church's channel. So I figured I'd say with y'all my own personal money-saving life hacks for traveling the world. These are the same hacks I use to be able to travel to 40-some countries, on a teacher's salary. If you have some of your own money-saving life hacks for traveling the world, please leave those in the comments. I want to hear from you because we can all learn from each other. The number one money-saving life hack for travel is you got to be flexible. And Monica Church mentioned this in her video as well. You need to be flexible on location. In particular, you need to be flexible about date. Nothing will raise the rates of a flight faster than being very limited on when you can travel, which kind of leads me to my second money-saving life hack for traveling the world, and that is let the deal determine your destination. A lot of times I don't plan trips based off of, I want to go to X location. It is more of, where can I find a flight deal? I want to go somewhere in July. Can I find a flight deal for that? Or I find the flight deal first and then fill in my travel calendar after that. So where can you go find the flight deal? There are lots of paid services, but you can get a lot of stuff for free. Sites like Escape Houston, The Flight Deal, Airfare Watchdog, Scott's, I don't remember what Scott's is, but services like that will periodically list different flight deals, different airfares, and so you can book that and then build your trip around it. Other ways to kind of let the flight deal guide you, these aren't specifically deals, but cool sites that would work well. We all know kayak.com as a place where you can book flights, you can rent cars, hotels, and all of that. But if you go to kayak.com/explore, what you can do is you can kind of shop for a destination based off of price, how long you're going to want to go. So it's like, I don't know where I want to go, but I want to go somewhere in December. I'm leaving from, New York, I'm leaving from Atlanta, and you can see where are places within your budget that you can travel within that time frame. So that's a cool one. Another good one is skyscanner.com. Instead of picking a destination, you can just put everywhere, and it will, you input where you're leaving from, and so then it will pull back all the results and you can go from there. You can do something similar with Google Flights by leaving the destination blank. And so you put in where you're leaving from, you can put in your dates or not put in your dates, depending how flexible you are, and then leave the destination blank, and it will tell you, these are all the places you can go and these are the prices. Number 3, Monica mentioned this as well. Monica Church mentioned this as well in her list, except her video is a little older. She talked about using Ebates, but now Ebates is Racket. And you can use Rakuten to get cash back when you book. So here's an example. I am booking my hotel. I'm using booking.com. If I have Rakuten, I can activate it and I can earn so much money back when I book the hotel. You know, same thing with like hotels.com, even places like Orbitz and Expedia even. So you can do it with hotels. Sometimes you can even use Rakuten when you're booking excursions. So if you don't have a Rakuten account, in the description, I'll put a link. You get money, I get money, and you can install the Rakuten plugin on your browser so that this little reminder always pops up when you're getting ready to book something. My number 4 money-saving life hack for traveling the world is don't waste your money on ATM fees. To me, traveling and stretching your budget isn't just about, you know, like booking cheap flights or booking cheap accommodations, but saving money where you can while you're traveling. And first of all, nobody should ever pay ATM fees. First of all, okay? I'm not paying somebody to get my money. Now, when you travel internationally, not only are you looking at ATM fees on both ends possibly, you're also looking at maybe international transaction fees, foreign transaction fees, conversion fees, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we don't do that here. You need an account at somebody like Fidelity, USAA, Schwab, Capital One. You need an account that's going to rebate ATM fees for you. So everywhere I have lived around the world, everywhere I've traveled, my Fidelity card, I've been able to use it. The next money-saving life hack for traveling the world that I have for you is always pay in the local currency if you can. This is going to save you money. A lot of people come here to Mexico, in particular in the more touristy areas like Cancun and Cozumel, Playa del Carmen, places like that. And because they get so many Americans, they will often list prices in US dollars and will accept US dollars. I know that is convenient, but you're losing money, okay? Because you're getting that business or that person's exchange rate, which may or may not be a good rate, okay? And often prices are sometimes quoted, they're higher when they're quoted in US dollars. So whenever you have the option, always pay in local currency. This includes when you're using your credit card. I've seen this a lot, where you go to a store or restaurant, they run your credit card. Of course, this is a credit card without international fees. And on the receipt, they give you the option to check, do you want to pay in dollars or do you want to pay in pesos or whatever the local currency is? Pick the local currency, because again, if you choose the dollar price, that's using the conversion rate that the store or the restaurant is giving you, and I guarantee you they're not trying to help you out. They're not trying to give you a deal. So don't pay in US dollars. Always pay in local currency. This next money-saving life hack, some of y'all are not gonna like this, but I say avoid all-inclusive hotels. Avoid all-inclusive resorts. And here's why. You're paying too much. You're paying way more than you would what you're paying for? You're paying for convenience. You're paying for the convenience of not having to think about where am I going to eat, transportation to the place to eat, that sort of thing. And, you know, I have stayed at all-inclusive resorts. I just did in December, but it was the middle of COVID, the height of COVID, and I did not want to have to go look anywhere for something to eat. I wasn't leaving the resort much. But in most cases, it's gonna be better for you to skip the all-inclusive resort, because honestly, you can go out to a variety of restaurants and get from low-end to high-end cuisine, and you'll still come out better than what they're charging you at the all-inclusive resort, and the food's probably gonna be way better. And staying with the theme of, hotels and where you should stay, this this next money-saving life hack for travel is don't sleep on hostels and boutique hotels. And I know the minute I said hostel, some of y'all just automatically tuned out. But listen to me. Y'all know me. You know I am not gonna stay in some crappy ass place, okay? There are all kinds of hostels, just like there are all kinds of hotels. But if you want to get the most bang for your buck, you cannot beat what you pay in a hostel. I mean, like, I've stayed at really nice places for less than $20 a day. But if you're like, look, Adelia, I'm not about that hostel life, I would then suggest check out boutique hotels. Stay away from big chains if you can, because with a boutique hotel, what I've noticed is you usually get a much better price. You get much more responsive staff. It's like, I'll tell you this, the level of chain hotel I could afford versus the level of boutique hotel I can afford, I get a much elevated experience when I have stayed at boutique hotels. And because they're small and because they're really big on customer service and that sort of thing, I often get, recommendations for restaurants, or they will connect me, especially if it's someplace I don't speak the language. They will connect me with tour guides, transportation, all kinds of things. I've had a much more enriching experience staying at boutique hotels than I have at large chains, and it's been a lot easier on my wallet. Both Monica and I agree on this next money-saving life hack, which is to use public transport. If you're coming from most places in the US, public transport is probably not a cool thing to do. It's probably something that's looked down, or maybe it's just not even something you have where you are. But when you are traveling to other countries, especially, a lot of them have mass transit systems that outclass what we had in the United States completely. I can give you an example. Here in Mexico City, you can get on the metro, the subway system, which is the second largest in the world, I believe, for 5 pesos, which is about 25 cents. And you can literally ride anywhere in the city. It doesn't matter how far you're going, for 25 cents. You cannot beat that. There are other methods of mass transit here that are just as cheap. So when I travel, one of the ways that I save money is I try and walk as much as possible, and I try to take mass transit. Now, that can get a little tricky in countries where you don't speak the language, and that's where Google Maps, or my other favorite transport app, Move It. And I'll put links to both of those in the description. That's where those two come in, because Google Maps has really gotten better. But Move It is my favorite. What Move It will let you do is you put in where you want to go. They will offer you how long it takes to walk, how long it takes to bike. They'll give you different options. And you can also turn on a feature that as you're on the bus or the train or whatever, it will notify you how many stops you have, and then it will notify you when you need to get off. And that comes in clutch when you're in a country where you don't speak the language. And even when once you're in a location and you're trying to get somewhere else, I think being from the United States, often our default is, can I book a flight from here to there? don't discount bus systems. Here in Mexico, that is the way to go if you're trying to get between cities. It's basically you're riding in luxury for pennies, dollars, very, very little money. Companies like Primera Plus, Otto, but even in Europe, well, I have taken the bus in Asia. It wasn't an experience I was in love with, but in Europe especially, I spent a month in Europe and traveled to 8 or 9, 10 different countries. And let me tell you, I booked flights, really cheap flights, because we all hear about Ryanair and companies like that. The bus was way better than the plane. I didn't have to worry about how much my bags weighed. I had internet, I had a comfortable seat, I could charge my phone. So yeah, don't discount buses for traveling between cities or even between countries. And my final money-saving life hack for traveling the world: look for free activities. One of the things you always want to do is the location you're going to, Google that place, things to do for free. But I did that in New Zealand and there was literally nothing to do for free. That tells you something about how much stuff costs in New Zealand. But particularly, there are a lot of activities that are pay what you want, or the person works off of tips, and that will allow you to experience something that might have been out of your budget. There have been several tours that I have done that are kind of pay what you want or quote unquote free, that if I had just booked the paid version of that kind of tour, it would have been out of my budget. But even with a generous tip, I got a great experience. The person delivering it got some money in their pocket, and I saved money over the more expensive, kind of more formal sort of tour. As you're looking for ways to stretch your budget further, accommodations can be a big ticket item. Now, in this video, we talked about how awesome boutique hotels were and avoiding resorts. But if you're wondering, where do Airbnbs fit into this, you'll want to watch the video that I did called Airbnbs versus Hostels, where Stephanie Perry of Vicarious takes on Rashida Dow of Sheeta's on the Loose, and they duke it out over, what's a better option for women, especially women traveling solo, Airbnbs or hostels. There is a link to that in the description, and I'll also put a link up here. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and do that. The world is opening back up, and travel is a thing again. Are you ready? Are your finances ready? You can book a one-on-one call, a one-on-one Ask Adelia call with me, so we can map out a plan to get your money on track so that you can, grab that passport and get out there. There's a link in the description, bit.ly/AskAdelia. If you found this video useful, enjoyable, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends you think who might have some interest in this topic, and thank you guys for watching.